Hey everybody, it's Gina B here. Welcome to the Fox Den. Unfortunately, we do not have Mama D again. She has conflicting schedules now, so she probably won't be with us for a while yet until she can work those things out. It's work, work is important, so I will forgive her. And she actually asked me if I would ever, think of replacing her. I said, if I can't have you, I don't want anybody. And that's the God's honest truth. Okay. But tonight we have Rob Thomas. Now, this is going to be a fun show. Okay. This is for all you people with relationships, new or old. Okay. You want to rekindle stuff? This is the show for you. Okay. So what we have is Rob Thomas. And how he puts it is, Rob was at his wit's end. It seemed that everything he said to his beloved wife to draw her closer just ended in disaster and disappointment. He saw this incredible woman pulling away, and nearly every word that came out of his mouth made it worse. Yeah. Okay. So Rob began to explore what might happen if he stopped talking. And he began a gentle campaign of nonverbal communication, reaching her in ways that conveyed his love without the misunderstandings and missteps that words risked. You'll discover the incredible results in his new book, Wordless Cpnnection, Deepen Intimacy Without Saying a Word, Even If You're Married. Rob didn't just apply this to his own relationship. He tested it with many couples across the globe. They raved about the renewal of their love. A highly acclaimed business consultant, Rob Thomas spent the last 20 years helping big companies get unstuck. And that's exactly what he applied to the Wordless Cpnnection, to find simple but doable solutions to heightening and sustaining love. And today he's here to share some of the wordless practices that will reignite the intimate connection for any couple, married or not. And here's Rob.
Hey, thank you. That was really nice. And man, you got good. You got a good tone. You got a voice for radio. I don't know.
Oh, I'm very raspy right now. I'm losing my
No,
voice.
no, you got a nice melodic flow of how you said all that. So, thank
Oh,
you.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. This book is very interesting. At this point, I usually hold the book up. However, I have PDF. There we go. So I can't do that, and that definitely gets to me. But let's see now. Now this book, it's not huge, but it's packed with a lot of things, and it's a lot of things that when you're reading it, you go, why didn't I think of that?
Well, thank you. I actually, as much as it may strike you that way, um, going through the journey, it was not always obvious. And I think when I started writing the book, I kind of had a kernel of an idea, maybe not even a full sentence, about kind of where this might go. And I just kind of started experimenting and thinking about it. And one thing led to another over a long period of time. And that kind of unfolds in the book. So I'm glad it seems like it's a more simple journey, because actually, when you get into it, it really is very simple, and we've got more going on for us than we often than we may even understand. So I think that that's part of the message of the book, that we're in a better place, ready to go with our partner than we think possible. So.
Well, awesome. Now, when you say even if you're married, what is that promise all about?
Oh, see, it's a bit of a wink. I often, sometimes I tell you, I'm on these
Think that's
podcasts.
good.
That's right. I'm on these podcasts, and some people really think it's some sort of serious scientific thing, Or, so no, it's just, I think, again, from my own perspective, you often feel like if you're married, particularly the longer you're married, and you are stuck in something in your relationship, some reason it just seems like you can't get unstuck, and it feels like no matter what you do, you kind of seem to keep just an arm's length distance with you and your partner, and you wondering how you can do that. And I think, as I talk to other people who are in long-term relationships, they often feel like that's as close as they can get, and that's really, again, something that they're surprised at. So this is why again, I have this wink towards, and it says married, but it's really anybody in a long-term relationship who feels like, they may be talking, I think they're talking to somebody else, because I don't think, I'm not certain there's anything that could work for me. And the good news, and we'll find out as we talk about this, there is something. So, and again, it's within us, something that we really kind of already know how to do.
All right. And that, a lot of married couples do go through that. They just get this disconnect. Now, I am engaged. I am actually, I know, at my age, right?
Go team.
This will be actually my third marriage, and this will be his second. And
Congratulations.
It's September. Thank you very much. But I'm telling you, again, reading this and some of these things are going to come in handy.
Well, thank you. I think that one of the things that I think is interesting is people experiment even with one of them. It isn't just that you may think that they're feeling closer to you, but you get elevated. You yourself start feeling, you're surprised. It's like, wow, I'm getting engaged in this. I mean, again, a lot of the research participants made comments like that. It was very interesting how they themselves felt elevated.
Right. Is this something that we've always known, like instinctively?
I think it is. I think it is actually something that right in the introduction, there's kind of a brief history of this nonverbal connection that we've had, and talks about how humans, and this is no surprise to anybody, we always enjoy living in groups, and humans started living in groups about 350,000 years ago, and then depending upon who you look at, I've seen some research that says 10,000, some say 30,000, but recently compared to 300,000 years ago, we started talking. And so we went through this whole long period of time where we lived in groups, we lived in families, we were trying to keep things going forward, but without being able to talk. And so we really, during that period of time, we developed, I feel, a whole library of nonverbal connection tools. Some of these are things that, like a hug, that we all know what that is, that we connect with. But really, our bodies are built really to connect with our partner. And in fact, we even have a whole pharmacology store in our head that as we connect or hug or something, we get dopamine, we get endorphins, we get oxytocin that's released in different amounts that, again, enhances this experience that we're having with our loved one. And so this all happened and kind of evolved during this long period of time as we're working into this whole idea of being the species. And ultimately, this is in our DNA. This is who we are. We wake up as humans, as a little baby. We have this within us. There is not a culture on the planet that does not know what a hug is. There's not a culture, not a person who doesn't know what a kiss is. And it all means the same thing. And so these type of things are really innate within us. And we often, now, one of the challenges we have right now is that we're so, we've got all these communication tools. We're always in our head. We're always texting. We're FaceTiming, or we're looking at TikTok or whatever that fills our life. And so in some ways, we just feel like there's a constant conversation either going on or editorial going on about everything that we're doing. And we almost feel compelled that even when we're trying to be close with our partner, even intimate, somehow we've got to have a running dialogue. And really part of what this book is inviting us to do is just, and it's, believe me, we do need to talk. Talking's great.
Yeah, talking is good, but sometimes talking...
But sometimes talking gets us in trouble. I'm an over talker. And I'll tell you from a lot of experience that can get me in trouble. But part of what happens is that when we go into a situation where we don't say anything, and like we're going to hug or we're going to kiss them or we're going to do something, we don't ask permission. We just go in and we hug them, and there's no talking during the activity and there's no talking afterwards. And again, it really becomes a different thing when our head is not driving the conversation, not driving the moment, not trying to guess what they meant by that. Really, when we stop talking, our bodies are really ready to connect in a very simple way that really makes a difference in someone's relationship.
That's my baby right there.
Oh, see, that's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it was a T-shirt way back in the day that a smile is the universal language.
Sure.
And it is. If you're going to greet someone, you want to greet them with a smile. If you want to greet your partner, you should greet them with a smile and not that when they walk through the door.
Or we get used to it, or they think they've seen us before. They know I care. They know, But again, unbeknownst to us, this is part of. It's like a garden. We don't kind of tend it, water it, weed it. The garden stays living, but it kind of gets overgrown, and it doesn't quite look the way it did when we had it as a garden that we were able to enjoy and gain things from.
Now, what part of that do you think is like when you first meet someone and you're in that honeymoon phase, and then that stops? You know what I mean? And then you're left.
So kind of why it stops or when it stops?
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah.
Well,
So,
I think I think that it often stops because we get busy. We got lots of stuff going on, and as we all think back about relationships that we've had, we got busy with a new job, or maybe we decided to move in together, or we're buying a house, and then we got to decorate the house, and then we got to pay for the house, and then maybe we've got kids, and kids always want to be the center of the universe, not just the center of your attention. And so there's always about 5 things striving for our attention. And because we have these random moments where we do connect with our partner, we think it's okay. And we think I'll get back with them, or they know how I care. And you do have a life together. But over time, and again, it doesn't happen maybe in a week or a month. I think it can be much longer than that. But it's at those points where we've stopped kind of this connecting on a daily basis that it becomes a problem. And really, as I kind of outlined in the book, you really need to find ways that you kind of share something in a very small way, a couple of times a day, maybe 2-3 times a day. And really, one of the things that's great about the experiments that I mentioned in the book that I think people should try and see how they try them on for size, see what works, what doesn't, and you can evolve these things in a way that work for you. All of these generally take about 5 seconds. I mean, they really are not long. But one of the things that I was really surprised about when we did research is that they were very impactful. In fact, probably more. In fact, some of these 5-second hugs turned out to be as impactful than maybe spending a whole evening out at a dinner and doing something else. And I'm not saying that can't be very wonderful. I'm just saying that this 5-second moment where you take with each other really is something that, again, I heard this again and again, is that when they did this, immediately in the moment, they felt just like they did when they first started dating. So some people feel like, you get to this arm length experience, I don't know, I may have to go. I don't know what I have to go to, but this isn't working. Well, they're shocked that this 5-second moment can bring them back and make them feel exactly what they felt and why they made the decision in the first place to have a long-term relationship with this individual.
Right. Now again, just to reiterate, we are not talking about sex. We are talking about intimacy, just these moments, these connective
Correct.
moments. It leads to
Correct.
That. Okay.
And believe me, we're great as humans to have lots of things lead to sex. So I'm not saying that doesn't occur, or maybe even in this, it may lead to that. But really, not only am I not focusing on that, again, the research I got, the people again and again, they did this as kind of, instead of saying hello as they came home from work, or as they were passing, or comment as they were getting somebody else coffee in the morning, they took a moment, took 5 seconds, and just connected. And again, maybe the two couples or the two people in the relationship are getting ready for work, or they're going somewhere or something. So maybe one or both of them would like to have more intimacy, but really at that moment, that's not their point. This
can I
is really just another kind of conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. You just mentioned just getting coffee. Do you know that that is the highlight of my day? Now, I don't work anymore. I'm done working since I moved here. I'm retired. I'm done.
Very
This is
nice.
enough work, and working stuff for him is enough work. Okay, and I do more work than I've been home than I ever did in the field. But
Sure.
anyway, but the highlight of my day is when I wake up and there's a coffee sitting there on my nightstand that he gets for me when he goes to work. So he gets
What a
up,
gift.
coffee, puts it down. Yes, and it's like, and when I don't have that, I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
But it is. It's like one of my absolute highlights.
That's a wonderful thing. One of the experiments in the book talks about this spontaneous uh, act of care, and it can be just as simple as leaving someone coffee or getting something ready so it makes them going to work one step easier, or remembering something again without being asked, and doing it for that person. One of the things that is highlighted, and I not only talk about it in the book, but got a lot of feedback from the research participants, is that again, I'm going to call out men on this. Maybe women do this, but I belong to this fraternity of men, and I recognize that sometimes men, we're just trying to please, and we're sometimes idiots. No offense, I'm talking about myself as well. Is that we may see our partner and they're doing something for us, and we can see they're harried or overwhelmed, and so trying to help, we go and ask them, how can I help? And the challenge with that, in fact, Gina, you're kind of shaking your head. Do you have any comment on why that's a problem, or how that could be a problem? It doesn't have to be, but why that might be a challenge? I have a ready answer if you want one, but go ahead.
Well, I have my methods of doing the things that are saving your butt. So just let me do them. You're gonna hit it. By the time I explain everything to you, I would already be done.
And the other thing too that I think is a subtle item is that when you ask, whoever the partner is, when you ask your partner for how you can help them, then it's like they've taken on one more task of managing you. And so it isn't just that you have to explain it, but then when they do it wrong, then do you tell them they did it wrong, or do you thank
Yes, I
them
do.
for the
I'm
wrong
sorry.
job? I mean, what do you
I'm
do?
from Massachusetts, so I cannot hold back. When you write about these
Please.
things like this harsh speaking and stuff in your
Right.
book, you even talk about that. You have a Mass person that you actually have in there. But yeah, I can't hold that back. I was a tool belt diva. I built things. I built things for work. That was my work. So, he says, I get sick of holding nails. Not to say that he can't do these things.
Right.
However, it was
Right.
my job. It was my life. It's how I made my living. No, I'm hammering. Okay.
Man, that's fantastic.
And so
In fact, I like, what did you build? I'm curious.
everything, cabinets. I've done flooring, tiling. As an interior design decorator, tool belt eval. If like I've put in tile floors and backsplashes and ripped out kitchens and put in kitchens. I've built cabinets. I've
Wow.
put in
And
windows. I've done it all.
is that from, did you have a family member or some, I mean, normally those
Okay,
skills that you just
there
don't
was
wake up with them,
well, kinda I did. My dad was a carpenter. I did watch him. He
Uh-huh.
wasn't too much of a talker, but I watched I learn. I'm eager to learn. I never want to
Sure.
stop learning. Never.
Sure. Me too.
Okay. And I would sit and I would watch him, and I was always enthralled. So I'm out as a child under 10. I'm out building 3-story forts in the trees, and then I'm
Wow.
decorating them.
Aha!
I'm stealing my parents' my mom wanted to reupholster the sofa, and I'm stealing the fabric, and I'm putting curtains in my 3-floor.
Now that could be reality TV. A 10-year-old building a fort and decorating it. So
I had I had the best free tree fort, like a log cabin.
Sure.
the woods
Sure.
too, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to build the arch for our wedding. I'm doing
Oh, that's so
all these
nice. When are you getting married? How soon?
September 12th.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? September 12th?
Yeah.
Oh, you know
Why?
what is fun about that? That's my birthday. So I'm always a
Oh,
fan of
goodness.
September
Also,
1,
see?
2.
So you'll never
So
forget.
yeah, no, well, that's fun. Well, I'll be thinking of you on September 12th. So.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, but I mean, when he offers to help, it's like, then I got to fix things, and because it's not like my way. It could be, uh, again, I regress. I'm a masshole.
Aren't we
It's
all?
and I was a boss, so it's like it's my way, And men have worked for me,
Sure.
and a lot of times they didn't like the fact that a woman is telling them what to do, and I'm sorry, but you're an electrician. I can find another one. If you don't want to do it my way or in my
Sure.
time frame, there's someone else. Okay.
Right.
So and I don't have a problem saying that, so maybe I need to work on.
No. Again, I think the point that I think is helpful here is that if we want to do something for our partner, and it's really one of these spontaneous acts of care, we do it in a way, again, we're not seeking permission. We don't tell them in advance. We just go ahead and do that. And maybe we'll learn that maybe that wasn't the right thing. or
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
learn from the process. But what we find is that when we do something, we tend to do something that we think that they'll like and that we're probably good at, or we're good at delivering this. And so they're surprised, they're appreciative. It's unexpected. So again, they may be in a situation where they're at work. I was talking to a woman who husband is a football coach, and anyway, he had a big game and they had to travel like 2 hours away from the home to go to this game. Anyway, she'd made some really nice dessert for him and some other snacks, and hid them in his bag that he was taking to the game. And he told her later that that was really a highlight that really, in some ways, helped him start the game better. And
Right.
so she was lining up with something that she anticipated would help, and then she did it without, again, any warning. And so I think that is part of what makes it a little special. And again, we see it, and it. One of the things about the wordless experience is that it isn't so much in our head; it's in our heart. And I really think our heart has its own way of communicating, its own memory, and its whole process. And so when we do this wordless connection, it allows for our heart to be a part of the conversation. And that's really the part that helped us get start dating this person in the first place and make us decide that we wanted to be with them. And so
Yeah.
we get busy and we're only letting our head talk about the conversation. And that's part of the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, let's see, hold on a second. Oh, you just popped in to keep your schedule and say, oh, okay. All right. Well, I will see you tomorrow. You take care of yourself. She's not doing too well, like health wise. So she's got to get her rest. We love you,
I hope she
Sharon.
does better.
Yeah.
Sure.
But this is like very exciting. Like you talked about secret house elves.
Oh yeah.
I have a
Right.
lot of regular questions that I want to ask you. But at this
Please.
point, I think this is a good segue for this house elf thing. Like the woman leaves and comes back and her house is spotless. He doesn't say a
Right.
word. Now,
Right.
if Bob ever did that, I think I would have a heart attack.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
One. And but here's the thing. Men got to understand too, like we do these things constantly. And we're
Right.
not asking for recognition. We're not
Right.
asking for atta girls. We're not saying, I don't need a pat on the back or you did a good job or, an
Right.
occasional thank you would be nicely,
Sure.
accepted. However, but we're not looking for it or, well, you owe me things,
Right.
And I think a lot of guys, and especially love you, Bob, but you do this a lot. You say, well, I said, can you put this up for me? Can you do this? And it's like, whoa, cost you. You know what I mean? It's like, and then automatically it's just like all the wind comes out of your sails,
Right. This actually, I have a little story in the book about something like that. And again, I don't know. Again, I know men are like this, and so maybe women are like this as well. But they often think they're the funniest person they know, and so they're often saying things that they think are hilarious, like it's going to cost you. Well, I think I heard Jerry Seinfeld say that. I mean, and so uh, the point is that what we think is funny and maybe what is funny are two different things. And so, again, this gets back to being, we need to be intentional about our messages and that we want to be perceived as being kind and loving. And so, again, that doesn't mean that's going to correct our humor all the time, but I think that's the challenge. That's the challenge this man has. I mean, I do think I'm pretty funny, and so I can, I can try out material that doesn't work,
Yeah.
but I think particularly, and it's unfortunate, I think it's often at our partner's expense, and so we need to be sensitive to that and be intentional that as much as we may want to try and have some levity, we need to make sure that our partner understands where we're coming from. And again, that's where these experiments and you figure out what works for you and maybe what doesn't work for you. So
Yeah, 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 definitely. But now wordless, like hand holding, things like
yeah,
that. Now, when you say like to not warn your partner before you try these experiments. Oh, and I
right.
know, let me back up. These experiments that you talk about, they're on the end of every single chapter in the book. Okay, people, so just so you know. All right, so you go through this chapter and he explains some things to you, and then there are experiments for you to do.
Right.
And
And then at the very end of the book, there's also some, actually at the very end of the book, I share 5 experiments that I shared with the research
that
participants.
I printed out because I
So
have just a PDF, but I that's going to be handy
now
for me to
it,
keep
it
coming.
is, it's fun. It's a fun adventure. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the hand holding and things like that. So if we want to do this without like warning our partner, we don't want to scare the crap out of them either. But we got to take,
Yeah, actually, again, this is kind of a new curve for the relationship, and a number of participants in the research said one of the first things their partner said is, "What do you want?" Or they were thinking this is some sort of trade. You're being nice to me,
I know
or did you
what's
break
this going to cost
something?
me?
I mean,
Yeah,
what's wrong? I mean, something like that. And this is really the next thing I want to highlight again that I came across this again and again in the research that is so precious is that, yeah, you do get a little of that in the beginning where the people are unaware because they're used to the arm's length relationship, and would they like to be closer? Well, they would. And so when it happens, they think, uh-oh, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to assume this is her being nice or him being nice or whatever. So what's up? So they're trying to make sure I'm not in the doghouse over something. And so that will happen the first maybe couple of times. But one of the things that happened again and again is that after they did it, say one day, really the second day, maybe the third day, a lot of the participants, regardless of who initiated it, again, without permission, and I told the participants, don't tell them you're doing anything. Just if they ask, what are you doing? Say, I'm just trying to be loving. That's all. Is there a crime? And so, so don't tell them you're trying this. And what happened, and again, this is part of the reason, although I wasn't quite anticipating this, but what happened is that say you started with a 5-second hug and you did that a couple of times. Again, no comment before, no permission, just go in for a hug. And again, they know you. They've hugged you before. They want that. In fact, they often wonder, how did I get out of that?
yeah.
And so they're not going to say, oh, you didn't say Mother May I on that hug. And so so they take the hug. Anyway, again, the comment that I got again and again is that, say on the second or third day, their partner, without comment, began to mirror the behavior. So if they started with a 5-second hug, next day, the person comes home from work, they come over and give them a 5-second hug. No comment, no words, no explanation, no running commentary. And the partners who wrote about this were delighted and shocked. I mean, they were really thinking this is a one-sided exercise, and they wanted them to enjoy it, but they didn't expect spontaneity and for their partner to step up and say, I'm here. I want to do this too. And so that was very surprising. So yeah, the no permission, no telling, I think that works better. That's just my opinion. And that's kind of what I direct in the book.
Well, it's more than your opinion because you did it. You
Right,
actually did this. So this is, this
yes,
is coming from a place, you did it. You worked at this. It worked for you. You asked
right,
other people. You put it out there with all these other couples. It worked. So it's a tried and true. All right.
yes.
So
No,
it does work.
yeah, and in fact, you're going to experiment with this, and this thing will go in different directions that generally please you, and you'll find that you'll do things that maybe weren't in the book, or maybe combination of some of these. One of the things that happened with my wife and I as we started doing these 5-second hugs is that almost immediately, and again, no conversation, there was no discussion, we didn't draw pictures for each other, this just occurred, is that we do the 5-second hug, and then we do a 5-second kiss. And now we do that every time. And again, this isn't leading to anything. This is how, if one of us is coming home, and it doesn't happen every time that one of us walks in the door, but often as we come in or as we're leaving, I would say if there's any continuity in this, it's often when one of us is leaving right, for the day, or first time in the day, we will find each other and do this. And then the other thing I do is that I find I have an office at home, and when I'm working at home, if my wife comes across my mind, and I think that happens with everybody. Anyway, I stand up, I go find my wife in the house, and we do the 5-second hug and the 5-second kiss, and then I go back, and often we don't say anything else. We just do that. And again, we're talking 10 seconds here. I mean, and does this matter? Yes. Even, I will tell you, this may be a shock, I may be telling tales here, but there are days that my wife is still upset at me. And so we can, I know, it's a crazy world we live in. Yeah. So there are times where even if, we're at cross purposes for whatever reason, one of us can still come up and give the other a 5-second hug. And it's a truce. There's no comment. We don't see anything. In fact, I have found there a couple of times, even though this is very high on my mind, I almost want to give running commentary. I want to say something, or I want to say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Don't say. I'm really encouraging you. If you're doing it, just do it. And you can talk later. You can. I mean, this isn't like you're eliminating words. It's just that you're inserting a few seconds of wordless connection in your life. And I find that even when we're in we read a while ago, we had some family challenges that probably aren't unknown to others. And this was kind of stressful. And I found through this whole thing, something that really helped, and helped us not necessarily drift apart, but I mean, it's when you're in crisis for whatever reason, lose your job or whatever, or a family situation, that's when you often find yourself not connecting with your partner. And this 5-second hug, 5-second kiss, holding hands, I talk about the massage or some of the other things in the book. Yeah. So those things matter, and they just take a moment. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's so true. You just mentioned the massage, and how I have that in my head. That is a wonderful thing. Like what you were saying, you just decided to do this, and you would go to your wife and do the massage, and you're talking, about what you're thinking. You want to say something and you're not, and then you have to kind of reel yourself back into the moment and slow down and this and that. Because Bob will do the same thing, and he'll be in the one spot like that. I'm like, all right, you're gonna take the skin off right there.
All right, yeah, that's it. That's gonna leave a bruise here pretty quick,
Over here. You know?
Yeah, that's I get that. I get that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
slow, steady.
So easy, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's wonderful. It's wonderful. You have a lot of ways to connect in here and in this book.
Thank you.
I'm just going to read this right out, right? Because I have a whole bunch of questions like listed, and it says, "Now be honest, okay? The whole idea sounds a little bit woo-woo, okay,
Right.
at first, but
I'm with you.
back it with brain science. Now give us like everyday moments that proves that's legit."
Um, a couple of things. One is that when we're in relationship with someone and we hug them, and again, this not only deals with our partner, but it could be a baby, it could be one of our children. Um, the connection, the touching actually calms us. In fact, one of the things that happens is that when we are hugging really almost anybody, where our heartbeats start to become in rhythm. And this is in particular, there's been a lot of research on this between mothers and newborns, where their heartbeats get in rhythm. And it's also this type of connection where mothers, without necessarily, without even the baby crying, sense something.
Yeah.
And the body, it's got a lot of messages. It's got its telegraph working where we can sense that. We know that. And so we respond to it, even though in our head we go, I don't know exactly why, but this is something I need to address. And so they've done a lot of things like that where things get in harmony. In fact, one of the things I mentioned in the book, I talk about starlings or birds, where they are not, they don't have a leader, but because they sense each other, they all make the decision of how they're going to fly in a flock. And so that's part of that science. One of the other things that I think is very interesting that ties into this, there are a couple of thoughts. One, our our skin has little tiny receptors and they're
Yeah.
facing out and they are always looking to connect with another human. And we can even kind of test this on ourselves. You know, if you rub your hand on the back of the desk, you can sense, have a certain feeling. But if you rub your hand on the back of your other hand, all of a sudden, oh, I'm feeling skin here, and there is this connection where the body is looking for that connection. And this is part of how bodies not only connect, but we get reassurance from that touch. In fact, this is, not only with children, but with adults. When,
Mm.
We're feeling a little unsettled, we want a hug. We want to hold that hand. And again, we need no words at this point. One
Right.
of the things too that is interesting, and this is interesting about all cells, but I'm going to focus on cells in our hand, is that cells want to connect. There is a bonding process that is outlined in physics. You can just pick up any physics book and they'll talk about this bonding process. And so as we in fact, this is part of the reason I decided to start with a massage, is that I was aware about this bonding process between cells and going slowly on my partner's back. My cells are, in a way, talking or communicating with the cells on my wife's back. And so this is where I got this whole idea. I'm talking from my heart. I don't want my head, who's an over
Yep.
talker. He'll just blurt out stuff. Let's just focus on something loving in my heart. And then again, science, our heart is involves an electrical impulse. And so we have these electrical magnetic waves generated by our being as well as our heart. Anyway, I worked on trying to kind of think about a loving thing. And then I thought through my heart to send that message through my arm and to my hand and to the cells in my hand, and that they would share that feeling with my partner.
It's kind of
And
like
the thing,
Reiki and prana. Now it,
yeah.
yes.
And so the thing that I found really great is that when I did this the first time, which I'm really glad I did not tell my wife I was doing anything, because I was really nervous and I was making this up as I went along. So I thought there was a high chance of dysfunction here. So anyway, after it was over, she commented, she said, I think that's one of the best back rubs you've ever given me. That was great.
That is
And
awesome.
so that was really helpful. And I think if I would have got an opposite message, we wouldn't be having this book or this conversation at the moment. So,
Exactly. Well, how about, you know what? All right, segue way back at the beginning when you met your wife in college.
yes,
You have to
that's a
tell
fun
that
story.
story because
And
without that moment, this book would not exist either.
right, that is true. Actually, so I had gone to school for a year. I'd then gone off for a while. I was back at school at the time. My school let me. You could start on a quarter, so you didn't have to start at the beginning of the semester. I kind of came back, and so everybody was kind of already in their own flow. Nobody was new at the semester. I was just kind of parachuting in to school. So I didn't know many people. I knew like my roommates and stuff. I knew them, but I didn't really know anybody. And I had some interactions with some other people in some of the other apartments that I was living near. Anyway, one day I'm crossing campus and I'm kind of feeling like, I'm not feeling real connected yet because I don't have a lot of friends. Still trying to cook up my social life, looking to find out where the parties are and so forth. So anyway, I'm going along. Anyway, at this moment, I hear someone call my name. And I turn and I see this young woman, and she's someone that I knew that's living in a nearby apartment. And we'd had that apartment had come over and we'd had a game night with them a few weeks earlier. And so anyway, we had got acquainted, just superficially at that point. But I was really glad somebody wanted to talk to me. I mean, this is like, all right, this is
You're in.
this is hopefully is the start of something bigger with more people wanting to talk to me. And so anyway, I was really delighted, and so anyway, we started chatting, and it's one of those things. I mean, we've had these experiences where you're chatting with someone, and it just goes on, and you don't necessarily want it to stop. You're not quite sure what the next sentence is going to be, but this kind of goes on back and forth. Anyway, part of the conversation, I did just talk about I'm back at school and I'm kind of feeling less connected. And so we talked about that briefly. And then she brought up this, she said, I've got something where it's kind of a fun magic trick where you can get to know someone. And you go, what? So she said, well, I'll tell you what, I bet you $1 that I can kiss you without touching you. And I go, and again, this shows you, at least at that moment, my lack of imagination. I thought, okay, I'll bite. So at this moment, she leans over and she really kisses me. I mean, this is not like, your grandma kissing you. Anyway, the first thought, and again, this shows you, sorry, men are idiots. Anyway, my first thought is, I think she's lost the bet. That was my first thought. She's touching me. I mean, so
Yeah.
anyway, I only had that for a brief moment. I did lean into the kiss, and it was a very nice moment. And anyway, when the kiss was over, she had $1 in her pocket and she gave it to me, and I thought that was very funny. Anyway, that was a way that we started getting acquainted. And there's other events in the book that I talk about that
Yeah.
we did date. We didn't start seriously dating till later, but we did go on some dates at that point. But that's a very fun story. I love telling that
I
story.
love that story, but that was that, you're not going to have connection, but you're going to have connection, like
Right.
thought. And then now here you are with Wordless Connection,
That's right.
So
That's
I
right.
think that sparked it all too. So
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's a fun story. And that we like that.
A whole bunch for you, but you got one for
there we go. That's right. That's right.
No, you did a fantastic job with this whole thing. Let's see. Now, what about okay, say someone I don't know, don't really want to do this, like if afraid or nervous or awkward or whatnot, what advice do you have?
I would, I would try and do something small. One of the things that uh, when I was working on the experiments initially for the research, I not only wanted to have some that dealt with touch. Again, that's kind of a wordless connection. So I've got, hugging and kissing and the massage. But then I included a couple. One is this spontaneous act of care and also a note of care. And so you could start with something that is smaller, something that's non-threatening. And really with the two non-touching ones, you don't even have to be there for them to really experience it. You can do something nice for them. Again, like the woman who prepared some nice, fun food for her football coach husband, and that really delighted him. And again, because of their long-term relationship, she knew the type of things that would, so she just didn't get anything. She really curated that, and that was something that he saw that some effort went into this, and it was really some favorite things. So I mean, again, doesn't take any conversation. I think that's a very easy on ramp. One of the other things that I think is interesting is that the notes of care. In the book, we talk about just
Bob does
taking
that. Yeah.
a little sticky note
Yep.
and leaving it somewhere, and you can leave it on the bathroom mirror. We talked that I got somebody who left a note in the shower uh, for their partner to read as they were getting ready to take a shower.
You know what? Clients of mine used to have in their shower crayons, and they're married couple,
See,
and they would write, notes to each other on the wall, love
I
notes.
love that.
Sometimes
In fact,
they used to do notes, but the washable crayons on the
yeah,
wall.
I love that. In fact, I had not thought of that. That is a brilliant idea. I'm going to
Well, there
start
you go.
sharing that far and wide. And that's really the kind of thing. It's just light. And you know each other. You know the type of things that where you can make an inside joke. And it may not be funny. In fact, it may be really awkward or embarrassing if anybody else saw it. But you have your own inside track. You know what those mean. In fact, one of the things that I thought was interesting is that I worked with a couple of different editors on the book, and one of the editors told me, they said, and they really was thinking that I just made up this stuff. I've got a couple of pictures in there of somebody writing a note, and they said, don't say that. Say something better. Say something
No,
romantic or something. And I
no,
said, yeah, I got to tell you,
no.
I took all those quotes from the research. Really, in fact, I kind of liken it
Well,
into
again, it's a thing that
Valentine
Bob
candy
does for
hearts.
me. I love that. I dropped the ball on it. I have to admit it. I really do. I don't. I'm making myself like cold and heartless, and I'm not. I'm not.
No,
But but he
you
does
may be
all
many things, but I'll tell you,
these,
you're not that. Go ahead.
but he does all these wonderful things too. Like if I'm going away, I'm going up to Massachusetts or something because I'm in Pennsylvania. So if I go up to Massachusetts to see my daughters or something, and I'll open up my suitcase and there'll be a note, like just I love you, or a picture of an eyeball and and a heart and a stuff like that. Little like sticky note sizes. He'll put them in different things. I mean, if I can remember when he goes hunting, like sometimes I remember, and I put things in like these little glass hearts and things
Oh,
like
see, that is so
you know.
thoughtful.
But he
And
does it. He does it more than I do, and that's it's a thing.
well, I'll tell you, that's why you love him, and that's why you're going to marry him. Is that he
Right.
does that stuff, and often we choose people who have areas of their life that are much more developed in that area than we have developed in our area, and so this is why people who aren't talkers marry people who are talkers, or or vice versa. I mean, there's lots of reasons, but that's the reason you love this guy. So congratulations. So
One of the
I'm going to
many, one of
probably
the
say
many.
that several more times.
Yeah,
So
thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll take them every time. And we do events, so we're in the paranormal field, so we run these big events. We do Penhurst, Paracoms, huge event. It's very stressful and everything, so like we have to kind of remember to even see each other during that time
sure.
because it's just ships in the night. You know what I mean? So we
Right,
like
right,
kids and go, so
right.
it gets very stressful. But that's where we're having our wedding. We're having our wedding at Penhurst, which is really kind of,
Well, that is so nice.
I
Something
suppose,
that I don't really lean into too much, but it it crossed my mind a lot as I was writing this book that a lot of this wordless connection, I think, has a lot to do with just, maybe our spirits talking to each other. I mean, I think there's more to it than just the connection. And what starts it is being intentional. We're not just doing this rote. We're not just trying to score points. We're not trying to get something from them. There's no quid pro quo. If we're intentional, I believe it opens up a lot of ways that we can communicate, not just through touch, but I think we sense each other. And again, this gets back to mothers and their children, and I think it can be all family members, but I think there's a lot to this that we become more connected in many ways that we don't expect.
Right. And then not even with our partners, like I was just saying about like the events. I'm at these events, so it's stressful. I have a friend, Kristen, and whenever she comes like to an event or whatever, we automatically we don't speak, we just hug. And we'll do this big hug.
Nice.
And then her husband is a photographer, and he'll be taking pictures like, here they go again. Here they go again. And it's just, it just, it's that the peaceful, I don't know, it's just that the soul sister connection that we have, when we hug it out, and it's just amazing. It's amazing. She's the best hugger on the planet, and I love her to death,
Wow.
although I get, I get a different feeling when I hug Bob. I get that like
no, I get it. I talk about an experience I had with my oldest son in the book, and again, I was just trying to be intentional. He had a bad fall on a mountain bike, and he was laying on his couch, and anyway, I just asked him if he'd mind me giving him a foot rub, which I had never done before. And so he skeptically agreed. But anyway, I followed the steps, and it really was a very rewarding moment, not just between us, but it really kind of changed his tone. And again, I talk about that in the book, where we had a much, and it's not like we were having a hard time per se, but really he was having some stress in his life about his work, and it just lightened the whole mood. And we had a very lovely evening. And so that's not what I anticipated. I was really just trying to experience this myself and be very intentional with my care and concern for him.
Yeah. Like my daughters, I have two daughters, and my oldest daughter, whenever she gets up, she still does. She's 42. She still will get all upset. But, she's like, I just wish you were here. Because I would just rub her head,
Right.
And that's what she wants, and that's what alleviates everything on her. She just puts her head down, and I just rub her hair or pull, just like tug at her hair a little bit, just
right.
as long as I'm playing with her head. The other one, she's like, okay, we'll just kind of hug and done.
Right. Now, I do want to make one comment. I have a sister who is a side hugger. And I think that they're a very committed club of side huggers. They don't like to do anything but the side hug, and that's okay. But I will say, for this to really work with your partner, you got to go in with both of us.
Yeah, you need the hug. Yeah, you need the hug. The hugs are good. It's that heart to heart that hugs. It's nice.
No, it's like part of that connection.
Mom and baby. I mean, they encourage that. It's that skin thing too. So you want skin to skin,
very much
bonding, all that for like life,
Yeah. It stays with us.
Yep. Oh yeah. Okay. So we talked about that. Let's see. Oh, when you okay, you say going wordless helps couple discover brand new things about each other. What kind of surprises show up? Now, this is very interesting.
So now the thing that is curious is that, again, with any of them, they can just take on a life of their own. And when I started doing this, and I was doing this massage thing that I describe in the book, again, just trying to be intentional, send a message of love, intentional message from my heart. And anyway, after a few weeks, again, no discussion. My wife didn't ask permission. nothing. I go to get in bed, and I notice that she's taken a metal box that a metal lid, metal box, and it's about, I don't know, 3 inches by 4 inches. And I think it had held staples, for a stapler. And she had put a little note on top that said, oh, I'm blinking out. It didn't say love and affection, but what it said will occur to me in a moment. But anyway, it had a little message on top, and she taped that down. And so I picked up the box and I opened it up, and she had a little, 1.5 by 2 inch little sticky note in there with a message to me. Well, she hadn't done this, and my wife has a hard time at times expressing how she feels. And so this was really a heartfelt message. And so I look at her, and she is acting like she, stole a TV or something. I mean, she really is like, wondering what I'm going to do, and that may be part of the challenge.
Well, yeah, because her heart's on her sleeve right now,
Right.
So,
and so, we had a very nice moment, and we hugged, and again, we didn't really say much at that moment. So anyway, this began a process where she did this once or twice, maybe 3 times a week, and just lots of different things, very thoughtful messages. And again, this was a very nice experience, which I didn't expect. I hadn't seen this from her before. We'd been married for a long time. I had not seen this side of her. And one of the other things that was interesting, and again, I'm probably talking to some listener out there who doesn't share their feelings very well, is that this turned out to be a way for her to share a deeper part of her feelings. I mean, because she said stuff, and again, 8 words, 9 words on that sticky note that really she hadn't shared in our relationship. And so these notes of care, I mean, that is kind of where the idea for that was born, was this response. Again, my wife,
so it can start out with those little I love yous that can get into a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more revealing, more opening, more sharing.
Yeah. One of someone that early on, as I was talking to someone about this concept, and I told him a little bit about this this experience with my wife. And anyway, he told me later, he said that I think he mentioned this to his wife, and she left him a note. Anyway, and even though he liked this, and she was very caring for him, he really liked this. So anyway, he went around the house and put these little notes all over the kitchen and the bedroom and different places. And the thing I thought was interesting, which just highlights how tickled we are. And again, this brings us back to being young, is that his wife, and they've been married a long time, and they still have a bunch of kids at home. And anyway, she left these notes up wherever they were. She left them up so she could rediscover them again and again. And I thought, wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. And what a nice thought. And as well as indicating how that touched her heart. And so, again, this all evolves. We just, it's kind of live theater, live theater is going on in our life. And I didn't see that coming, it's an improv. Every night is an improv with Wordless Cpnnection. So.
Right. And you can make it so interesting. And I love it, like on your Facebook page, like these little things that I have down here on the screen.
Yes.
You put those up on your page all the time. And that one there, like, if I should have made it so I could zoom in on it, but it says, "We need to talk," that one. And it's like, those are the words you really never want to hear.
Oh yeah, man. I tell you, I actually get a tick as soon as I hear those words. Okay.
Start sweating.
Ready.
And red. What did I do? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't even know what I did.
I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah. So again, even if things are a little troubled, you can slip in a wordless connection somehow. And And it's just received on a whole nother plane. You
Yeah.
know, it isn't just truce. It's just we feel it different, we hear it different, and we recognize that we are bonded together. And so, and again, we don't have to talk about it. It's just, it's something that not only where we're at, but again, we made that decision with each other early on. And as we have these wordless connections, our body has that memory instantly, has that memory. It's not like, oh, I can barely remember. Now, again, this is something I heard again and again in the research, is that, man, I hadn't felt that way since we, got acquainted. I mean, I can't believe that. I mean, it was just there. And so again, didn't take it an hour or 5 minutes. This is just a brief engagement. And so I'd use it. I mean, it's really like you have to drink so much water every day. You probably ought to have 2 or 3 wordless connections every day too. So that's my tip.
Well, it's obviously working for you. So
Well, thank you.
I'm trying. I'm going to try.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Moral beauty and awe in marriage.
Yeah.
Definitely a new one.
Actually, in the book, I bring up something about moral beauty and awe. And there's some research being done by a professor at UC Berkeley, and he's talking about, and he's looking at something that he's calling moral beauty, and it's really where people do something unasked, unnecessary, and we're inspired by it. And so this is where maybe somebody helps. I mean, I don't know why this first thought that came into my mind, but someone helps an old woman across the street. Oh, that's really nice. You don't have to help that old woman. You're busy. You got someplace to be. Stop that, and so but really, this happens, or someone sacrifices some element of themselves to help someone, and we're inspired. And we can take this to the extreme with the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa. They did stuff that inspired us to try and be better people. And that's what moral beauty does. It inspires us to enjoy life more, or to have some sort of experience, or to be our best self. Now, our response, and again, it's not necessarily the same guy, but there's also research that talks about when we see something that is amazing to us, we have awe. And so this could be something beautiful. It could be a beautiful sunrise. There's that guy on the internet who sees a double rainbow and gets all excited. And or it could be just something in our life. I will tell you something that gives me awe. I remember when my children were small, or even whenever, even in high school, I'd sometimes get up in the middle of the night and just make sure all the doors are locked, and I'd peek in, and I'd see them sleeping, and just seeing them sleeping, and kind of having that sleep breathing going on, just gave me awe and joy. And so that's the feeling that we have. So we've got these two extremes, where we can act in kind of a bit of a selfless way, and that's moral beauty. And then we are responding when we see moral beauty, we respond with some awe. Now, the thing that happens—
the world needs that right now.
Yeah, and so the thing that happens is that when we meet someone and we start dating and going through that experience, there is something about them that, and maybe others may not even get this. I've had people say, "Oh, you just don't get him like I do," And well, part of it is we are seeing something that is morally beautiful to us, and they take our breath away a little bit when they do that, and we appreciate that, and we think, man, that would be great. I love that, and we have some awe. Now, it doesn't have to be anything earth-shaking, or perhaps anything that anybody even really understands or sees, but you do. And so you have some awe. Now, the thing that's interesting is that you then respond in some way. And your partner, your person you're dating or you're getting acquainted, they see you do something unrequested, unasked. They just do it. And they see your act as moral beauty. And they say, no one's ever done that with me before. And it could be something small, tiny. In fact, maybe the person does it with everyone, but this person doesn't experience that with everyone. And so they see that as moral beauty, and so it gives them awe. And so then they wanted to have more of that. And so they each are having this experience without perhaps even explaining to the other what they are seeing that's morally beautiful in them, or that they bring out awe. But it's this kind of ongoing cycle that actually, from my suggestion, my opinion, is that this is why couples get together. And part of the reason I included this chapter about moral beauty and awe is for people to kind of revisit the concept or the idea of why they got together in the first place. And the reason I felt that was so key is that came up again and again in the research. I felt like we were dating again. I felt the feelings I had when we first got acquainted. And so they hugged them. And again, I commented earlier where we're elevated because we're feeling awe with our partner. And it comes about through this wordless connection that takes 5 seconds. And
I know. I think we can afford that time.
Well, we sometimes think it needs to take more, and we have to take a class, then we have to read the book, then we have to wait till 4:32 because that's the right time to do it, and or the full moon is out in the sky. I mean, we have all these things. We don't. Our body's there. Our body's ready to go. Our body's ready to give us those endorphins the second we cross 5 seconds. And I've noticed this, at least with me, is that I cut out before 5 seconds, nothing. Once I get to 5 seconds, and again, it's not, it's not sexual. It's not that it couldn't lead to sexual, but it really is like all of a sudden our body says, this is important. This is important. Break out those endorphins. Let's go. We got something going on here, and we're going to share that joy. We're going to enjoy that moral beauty. We're going to give some awe in this moment. And so we're reminded and encouraged why we're in this relationship to begin with. And again, that's why I think doing it a couple of times a day, 2-3 times a day, is worthwhile. So we're reminded. This keeps that arm's length relationship at least a little less than arm's length.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, another question I have written down here is, do we have to keep inventing fancy new ways to be affectionate, or is it okay to stick with the same old hug and still feel the magic?
Yeah, I will tell you, a hug's a hug, man. It gets back to the woman who left all the sticky notes up. Well, I've already seen that message. Why? I need a new message. No, you really don't. And again, it's because it isn't just the message. It isn't. We think the event is it. The event triggers our memory within our heart, and that is the entertainment. That is the structure. That is the impact. It isn't the act. It isn't the few words you write on that slip. You remember.
Yeah.
No one does this for me. No one has done this for me. Yeah. This is why I stay. This is why I'm with them. They say those 4 words, or 8 or 6 or 2, and that does it for me. So no, you don't have to reinvent it.
It's calming, it's for just not even just that, for the connection. Like another thing Bob will do, because again, I may get a little.
Not you. Don't. You're better than that.
100%.
Believe me, we all have our issues.
I will be venting. I will get all upset, and then he'll just grab me and hold me. I'm like, and I'll be trying to push away from him too, and then I'll just kind of, okay.
you melt in.
You do, and it does help. It does help.
Yeah, again, with a lot of the respondents, they said a lot of the same things. I found it really interesting. A number of them used the word melt. I'm hugging, and I melted. Yeah. And I thought, wow. Again, we're talking about a 5-second hug here. Okay, so it's not like an hour. Not like you had to set an alarm clock to end it. No, this was just
Yeah, kind of
a
that
few
feeling that
moments.
you get at the end of an hour-and-a-half massage,
Right,
where you just like,
right,
you can get that in 5 seconds within the hug.
right. So, and it's meaningful, and it reminds you that you're partners, and that,
Yeah.
however you did it, you feel that connection or that commitment between you. And again, this gets back to the moral beauty and awe. Again, in fact, you might have a friend who explains why they like that from their partner, and you go, that does it for you?
Yeah.
Have you thought about counseling? How about self-hypnosis? Knock that off. I mean, well, too bad, too late,
Yeah,
too
it
late.
works. It
We're
works.
already, that does it for me. And so, and actually, one of the challenges that my wife has had is she often felt like it had to be new, had to be something different. I said, now you got an audience that likes the same thing over again. So,
I know, I'm plain.
um,
I like the same thing over and over again.
right. I don't,
I don't like the
uh,
fancy, I don't like hot and spicy. I
right, right.
I'm
I'll take it plain. So,
plain Jane, that's me.
yeah, no, and again, it's that moral beauty. Somehow we see something in it, and that's why we decided to be with them. And and again, this is just shorthand for some reason, and the body knows we don't have a lot of time. We got to go out, slay that dragon, go mow the lawn, or take care of our kids. But we
Yeah,
need something. We need that shot of endorphin when we are with our partner to remind us these people are important.
right.
And and this is really what's enabled our species to continue to grow and maintain itself, is that the body knows needs to take care of us and our partner and our family. And it does it through these momentary engagements. And that's what makes a difference.
Right. You know what I want to do right now? I want to put up the your book bigger here. So your book, Wordless Connection, Deepen Intimacy Without Saying a Word, Even If You're Married, is available at Amazon. Now, when they go to wordlessconnection.com, there's going to be workshops and coaching and
Right.
much more stuff there. So talk about that for a minute. Like what do you
Sure.
offer that you can help people?
Actually, some of this stuff looks relatively new, so we're still evolving some of this stuff. But we got a workbook, something that can help you practice some stuff in the book. In fact, I'm working on a couple of other workbooks that might even be more of a Cliff Notes thing
Oh,
that you
cool.
can make notes in. And so I'm working on that. So more to come. So if you go there and think, oh, I don't know, I really want something else, well, come back. I'm working on it. The other thing that I think is fun is that we have a place where you can put your own experience on the website, and it doesn't reveal who you are or anything, but we've kind of identified some different aspects of how this experience um, felt for someone, and we give you some options. And anyway, we let people share that, and I think humans like to share stuff like that. We've got a number of these things that we've got that we're putting on the website, so you can go and see different experiences that different people had. And I think that's interesting. We not only like to maybe share, but we also like to watch, and we like to see what other people did. So I think if you go to the website, you can see little journal entries that we've gotten from people. And so I think that that's interesting. I've got another couple of books that are outlined. I mentioned a couple other books. Uh, and again, these may change over time, but I wanted to show more's coming. And
Well, wait. No, you can't just leave it at that. Do tell. What are they going to be?
well, I actually,
The working titles.
I actually mentioned that I'm a bit of an overtalker, so I've got a lot of thoughts about everything. So one of them is actually about being working at work, and it says how to be a leader even if you're a manager. And so kind of it leverages the comment that even if you're married. And so kind of using that as kind of a thought point. And then the other one is how to have a relationship even if you're single. And so I've picked up on some things that from my research that I can also share. to help people who are not in a relationship, and for them to maybe understand more about what about
Well, this
themselves
is
as well
yeah,
as
this is a good first step here too, doing things like this, and just to
right,
you know,
right,
cultivate a new relationship right from the get-go with
right,
a lot more, you know, intent and feelings and emotions and things like that. There's a lot
and
of people
recognize.
don't. I think people are nervous to do this, you know.
I think
So
they are, and then often we don't know that we're having something special.
mm,
Often people will have a relationship and then, oh, I don't know if I want to stay with them or whatever. Or
yeah,
I just met a guy last night. And I think he's more handsome or whatever. Anyway, they leave that one relationship, go to another, and often I have found people have commented on this that often they wish they wouldn't have left. And so if they really understood a little bit more about what matters to them, and again, this isn't about taking a test or anything. A lot of it is just really noticing what you're feeling and how that what that response is. And again, understanding a little bit more about moral beauty, maybe about your own awe response, and uh, and recognizing that that is really what engages people, or what when people are in long-term relationships, it's often more of those subtle things that matter than maybe some grandiose thing. So,
yeah. I think my daughter needs this. I have, well, my two daughters. One's very happily married and's been so for many, many years. But my daughter with my grandson is not. And she
oh
just
wow,
keeps going relationship, 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 relationship. It's it's a handful. She's a handful, right?
yeah. Well,
God bless her. But
I have children. I have children. They have children, and I will tell you, I get a lot of opportunity to take care of those children, which I'm happy to do. But I can imagine uh, if one of them wasn't married, that would give me more opportunity.
yeah,
So that I know that. I could see that that can add more to your life. So
yeah, I think she just needs to slow down and you know, give someone a chance. She meets the
sure,
nicest men too, the nicest guys, and they're just like gone. Like, what happened?
sure,
What
sure.
happened? What did you do now?
Those humans, they're a puzzle.
I
Those
don't know.
humans.
I don't know. Like maybe she's just destined not to have a relationship. Maybe I don't know. Some people are, you know. But now talking about your studies, and you were talking, and you briefly said a little bit about journals, and I didn't want to interrupt you. Now I'm a firm believer on reading and writing. Right, I love reading, and I especially love writing and journaling. I think it's highly important. On your study, when you do with these people, so they they wrote in journals. What's like what surprised you? What are good key things that they wrote that just kind of hit you like,
Well, um, I've done a lot of research in my professional life, and lots of uh, research groups and different things. And so, generally, I have always found that there are some people who just don't do it, or they complain about doing it, or they do it half-hearted, or whatever. And so I just planned on that, and and then also, even if everybody participates, to have a good outcome, sometimes you're wondering, is it 50% plus one, and then we declare ourselves a winner? I mean, in trying to make a decision from the research. Anyway, the thing that really surprised me, there were several things that surprised me about the research. One, everyone participated. Once they started, I had no one stop. I mean, so I asked them to, over a week or two, to do 3 experiments, and I needed 3 journal entries for each one. And, I just kind of was, trying to figure out what would be a nice balance. I needed to get more than one
it,
entry from them.
50-50?
And so I was really thinking, oh, we'll see, and I thought some people, again, like me, I'm an overdoer. And so, of course, I'm going to do all that, but I anticipated some people wouldn't finish, or they'd do a minimal job, or they would say, one of the things I've also found through a lot of research is people, instead of doing what you ask them, they want to coach you that you're asking the wrong questions or
Yeah.
something, And so I was really anticipating a lot of things. So one of the things that was very surprising to me is that they all did it. The other thing that really surprised me is that they all were impacted by it. They all thought it was valuable. They all thought this made a difference. And one of the things, when I worked with a national research group who does this kind of study, I didn't just do a broadcast hoping people would participate and then just see what I got. We really did this in kind of a structured manner where I was really looking, I wanted to verify, I wanted people in their 20s, I wanted people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and on up. I also wanted people from different sexual orientations. I wanted people in blue collar, I wanted white collar, I wanted business owners, I wanted people who are rich, I wanted people who hardly had two cents to rub together. We wound up getting some, and I was really looking for outliers. Again,
I would love to read all these notes.
I was actually trying to get someone to not agree. I mean, that may seem odd, you'd think I'd want everyone to agree, but I was really trying to find the corner case where it proved my hypothesis was wrong. And really, when I set up the research package with this group, I had set up one go round, and we already agreed that we were going to do a second round because we'd learn a lot from the first one, maybe get different questions or handle it differently, or this or that. Again, often you'll then come back and do a follow-up study to get more information that maybe you missed. Well, we got everyone to participate. Again, I was shocked. And again, we had all these different permutations of how humans can exist in the United States, and they responded. And I had a very lovely journal entry. There's a woman who talks about coming home from church on Sunday, and she's going to hug her husband, Like, oh, how charming is that? I mean, I actually, sometimes people overshared. They overshared about their intentions or what they were thinking. And so anyway, I thought it was lovely. This woman, I came home from church in the afternoon, and she was going to go hug her husband for 5 seconds. And she wrote about it. So anyway, but one of the things, and this is more extreme, and I'm one of the people who participated, and I would love to go find out why he decided to do this or why he was attracted to this. But anyway, this guy was a drug dealer, and he talked about his wife and how she struggled with things, but he did the experiments, and he kept good journals. They're a little kind of they're not in a straight line. Well, oversharing, and it was a little different, unexpected, but I loved it. See, again, what I found is that no matter where people were, no matter what was going on in their life, and see, this is the key. This is the key for people who think, oh, I can't do it, or my partner won't want to receive it, is that everybody wants this connection. They all had it at one point, and they want to get it back.
Right.
And they're willing to go to school, go to counseling, go, do all this stuff, stand on one foot. I mean, they're really ready to do anything. And if this gives them a chance, they'll try it. And they did. And they talked about the impact it had on, again, their partner. And again, it was interesting. I don't know what people were thinking, but somehow they were just looking to try and connect with their husband, but they weren't thinking they'd get anything out of it or something. Anyway, they thought, man, I felt something. I really felt elevated. Again, this whole idea about being elevated.
You do. You go in a lot in on you are doing this for your partner.
Yes.
Throughout the book, you keep saying that.
Well,
but good.
So you're gonna, and so people think it won't work for them. Well, you've got 300,000 years of DNA. You got a library of stuff in your every cell is waiting. They're waiting. We're ready.
Fire them up.
Let's go. Let's light the rocket, man. Let's go. So, so this is what it's about, and So I think that that's very powerful. And again, so our bodies are in on it. They're waiting. And one of the other interesting thoughts that I had is that this works if we don't see anything before, during, or after. And it just highlights that we really listen to our head more. If we're in our head about our relationship, that can be even part of the challenge. It could be us, we're overthinking it, or we're assuming, or we're trying to be Sherlock Holmes or the detective about what they did that for. What were they thinking? I can't believe they said that. What were they thinking, giving me 2 forks? I mean, I made that up. I don't know. Nobody said that. I just made that up. But if we're in our head, we can come up with a reason.
Oh, I know.
Brother.
But
And so
I think also too, like when you get that connection, like after that hug, when your endorphins and everything are going and you're
right.
all relaxed, I think it's kind of impossible to be angry. You know what I mean?
I agree. And
Yeah.
at least for and I again, other research I've done about this kind of experience, you can have an afterglow that lasts 5 minutes or 15, and where you just leave and it's not like, you need to take a nap. I mean, you're just feeling like that was a good thing. And you just carry that on into, for me, into my next business call or whatever I'm working on. I mean, that just carries over, which is, that's what life should be. We should
Yeah.
have that. We should have that.
It resets your brain, like it resets
Yes.
the brain waves and everything. I bet if you did a study, like putting the little drone things
Sure.
in your
Right.
brain, like how you would feel after that. I bet there's like a dramatic thing, like like couples, have them
That
apart
would be interesting. Sure.
and have the brain scan, and then after that hug, what's the brain scan? Like
Right.
it's calming. It's calming, and then it's
It
like,
is calming.
yeah, now
And you know what? All is right with the world. And I actually hadn't thought about this. You made the comment, what surprised me. Well, your partner can surprise you when you start, in some ways intentionally connecting with them. They'll surprise you. Um, I had this one man talk about how his job around the house was doing all the fixing, and he apparently, just from how he described it, he's a pretty good handyman. And anyway, he was gonna, I don't know if he was repairing the deck or something, but it was something underneath the deck he had to do, and the deck was overhead, so he was standing, he was getting ready, and he mentioned to his wife that he was going to do this, and so came time, and he got out there with the tools and the gear, and as just like he was in charge of fixing the house and taking care of certain things, she also had her division of labor, and it wasn't this. This was not. I mean, it wasn't just that this wasn't her role. She didn't want to do this. I mean, that had been made clear, when they were, the code and covenants of the house said that she didn't have to do this, and so very clear not to bring that up. So anyway, so he gets out there and he's doing something. I think in the beginning he was do some digging. Anyway, to his surprise, well, it's kind of I don't know. It's there was some cold weather. Anyway, she shows up. She's got work boots on. She's got jeans on. She's wearing a coat. She's got gloves on and a hat, and she's ready to help.
Wow!
This knocked him out.
Yeah.
This knocked him out. She didn't ask if she could help. She just showed up like a good worker. She's ready to help. And that, I talked about not asking for help. Her just showing up. I even think that guy, the way he talked about it, she didn't need to do anything. Just her willingness to show up, dressed.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah.
And in her mind of what a worker dresses like. I mean, he talked about she had this coat and she had a little kind of a heavy shirt on underneath it. I mean, she's ready to, like, I don't know, chop a tree down. I don't know. But, in her mind, she came ready to help because she was feeling it with her husband through these series of experiments. And I love that story. That's a great story.
That's an awesome story. That's fantastic. It would be the opposite in this house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. I should have told that story earlier. That's a great story. That's right.
it is. It definitely is. I do love that. You know, because he always wants to try to help do stuff around the house. I'm just like, yeah. You know, and then these surprising things, you know, and again, I'm like a designer and interior decorator. You guys got to know when to and what to, you know, what not to surprise people with. Like, you don't
Right.
just, especially when our tastes are so different in decorating. Okay.
Right.
I'm a gaudy Italian. All right. I like gaudy
Right.
Italian stuff. All right. I'm very traditional. Well, he comes home with this clock. I mean, God bless him. I love him. He's trying. It's like steampunky and stuff. It's silver and it's huge.
Right.
And I have
Right.
zero wall space in my house. I'm just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I
Again,
love you, but
men are fun. So
yeah,
always got a surprise.
I
So
know. I mean, his heart's in the right place. You know, it's just like you just don't
no,
get a
I get it.
designer something that they don't say that they want. Right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get that. And
Yeah.
the other thing too is it as people experiment with this and find that a hug or a kiss or holding hands or something can be as valuable as maybe
More
a
valuable.
clock,
More
more
valuable.
valuable, then they go, I don't need to spend a penny. I can just do
Yes.
that.
Exactly. And
I don't
that's
need
what
to spend
I
a
do.
penny.
I'm just like, you know, if it's free, it's for me. That's what, you know, I live by
Right.
those lines. You
Right.
know, like, yeah, I will take the notes. I love the notes. Bring me my coffee. I love that. I will love
Right.
you forever to bring me coffee in the morning.
Right.
It's
So
like that starts my day, you know. So yeah, I mean, instead of that clock, I would have just much rather have had a hug, you know. Because you know, it's like he went crazy for Christmas. He's trying to go. Well, our birthdays are one day apart, you know,
oh man.
right after Christmas. So like January 9th, January 10th. So
Wow.
one day we're the same age, and then the next day he goes back to being a year older, you know. But
See,
you know,
that's
he's
fun.
trying to get, you know, another thing for like birthday. I'm like, I don't need another thing. I got plenty of stuff. I don't look at this.
How did you meet him? Give me the short story on that. How did you meet him?
It's really paranormal, actually.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's paranormal.
really.
Paranormal to
It
meet a
was. Yeah,
paranormal. See, that's,
yeah,
do you see, that was a joke.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I get you. I get you. I get you. I hear you. You know, so it's I had a house that I was going to be investigating that night with my friend Sue, and you know, and he was having an event there because he was Ghost Detectives TV. You know, they
Oh,
were having
wow.
an event there and stuff, and then we met and stuff, and then they left, and then we stayed and we investigated. Well, he reached out to me later on. You know, it's like I guess he liked me. You know, so he reached out.
What's not to like, right? Go on.
Well, you know, depends who you ask.
Yeah, no, believe me. I
But he
have
did.
those people in my life too.
We
Go
just
ahead.
did a lot of talking. We became very close friends. You know, and then it just kind of grew from there.
That's nice. What a nice story. That's a nice story. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's really wonderful. What a great treasure.
yeah, yeah. It was fun, and now we do like all these. I mean, because we have a lot to do in the paranormal. We have a Vortex ghost gear. We sell ghost gear to all the ghost hunters. You know, so we create, build, custom. So I get to do all that kind of stuff too. I get to be creative. I make these coffin music boxes, and I can put any design on the outside and any music on the inside. And what that does is if a spirit goes in front of it, like quickly, like passes by, it will turn on and off quickly. If the spirit stays and lingers, then it's going to continue to play. You know, so it's like when we have all these different types of pieces of equipment, which is pretty amazing. Something for all the
Well, so
senses.
what's your website? I want to go look at your website.
VortexGhostGear.com.
I'm a slow writer. I got Vortex. What's the rest of it?
Ghost Gear.
Oh, Ghost Gear. Okay.
Yeah. .com.
.com.
Yeah.
That is so fun. I'm looking forward to looking at that. That is so great. You know, for some reason, when you said paranormal, I jumped to just straight energy work, and
that too. I do that. I do prana healing, that kind of stuff too. I do readings, like just
right.
oracle card readings, things like that. You know.
Well, that's fun.
It's all, yeah, it's all energy. It's all,
And you've developed yourself a lot. I mean, that doesn't happen by itself or overnight. So good for you.
thank you
There you
very
go.
much.
Tip of the hat. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, there's a lot that I do. You know, it's learning. Like I said, I love learning. I love reading. I'm always, you know, never stop learning. Just never, never,
Right.
never, you know, never stop reading, never stop adventuring. This is why I do this show, to meet people
Oh
like
yeah.
you, to do what you do. I wish I could hold up the book. You got to hold up the book, because I hate having a PDF. I love having the book, you know,
The
because
book.
yeah, the
Buy the
book.
book.
You see the books that I have? That one needs to be on my shelf too. I need the book. You know, I got to not have
Yeah.
a PDF in my computer. I need a
I'll
book.
send you one. I will
Oh,
send you one.
oh,
So,
thank you.
so I'd already planned to do that, but I'm obligating myself vocally.
Oh, thank you so much.
So there you go.
That means a lot. I love having books. Like I have books. These are my next shows coming up here. These are my next 3 shows right here. You know what I mean? Like I've already read this one. See how I mar these books to death.
Yeah.
I mean I do that, and
Well, that's
I know it
nice.
to be like that. You know, like here
I like
I'm
being prepared.
printing out things of the book, and it's like, man, it's not like I can just open the page and go see, you know. And I love to do that during my shows, you know, and all my
Yeah.
dog ears, you know, because this one would have a lot of dog ears, especially for
Yeah.
all the experiments, you know.
Sure.
And the last section, I'm just like, you know, that's it.
One of the
Chapter 18 is the end all be all of everything.
well,
There it
there
is.
you go. You know, something that a couple of things that are I, I was thinking about why I do this kind of research or I do this kind of thing. I'm kind of an inquisitive person, and I like to try new things. Particularly, I try and stay fit, but instead of doing just one thing, I kind of rotate through things. So one point I had never run before, so I started jogging, and then started running further, and then I got into half marathons and marathons, and so I did that for a little while, and then I also started playing racquetball and got to be a pretty good intermediate player. I also got into CrossFit, where I started learning how to lift weights. I got into, and now I've been doing road biking, so I did that, and so I like these challenges and try to something new. In fact, something I'm thinking about doing, haven't started yet. There's a boxing gym not too far from where I live. I might start
You
boxing.
know,
So
I was doing that for an exercise thing, and I got
that's what this would
thrown
be.
out of the gym because I have
Well,
COPD and I have emphysema, and I guess my
um,
lips turned blue while I was doing it because they made us run, and I said I don't want to run. I know I'm hitting the bag, you know, because I mean I'm a physical person. I've always been a physical person. I've got muscles, right?
yeah, no, hey,
You know,
it,
I did that work, but I was punching the bag, I was kicking the bag, everything was great, and then we had to run around the gym, and then my lips turned blue, and they kicked me out. Said you can't come back.
that's too
Give a
bad.
doctor's note.
It's too
You know?
bad. I've always thought it would be fun. I think that would be a fun thing. So,
Absolutely,
I'm
I had a
looking.
ball doing it. You would love it. You would love it. It's
So,
fun.
yeah, I want to try. I want to get so I can do the speed bag.
Oh, I
Like they do in
can't
the
do that.
movies. So, well,
I tried
it's
to
one
do
of
that.
my goals.
That's a talent. I don't know how they do it, and I get like, I don't know. I freeze for a second or something, and it's all over the place. I'm like, I'm gonna get beat up by the slope.
Yeah, there's got to be a trick to it.
There's
And
gotta
I'll tell you,
be.
it took me a while. There's some movements with when you're weightlifting that it took me a long time to master. And in fact, in the beginning, just to show that it really was a beginning, I had never weightlifted before. They this place that I went to, they had us practice with PVC pipe, and so
Yeah.
that we could just
So you get
practice
the
moving the bar
yeah.
and getting the right form and doing it right. Anyway, there was this one overhead lift that we had to do, and I had my arms over the head holding this PVC pipe. And I'll tell you, after a little bit, I couldn't hold it up. It was too heavy. So I always thought that was so funny that in the beginning
Well, it's
had
the
a hard time
muscle.
holding up that pipe. But then I got better. I got stronger, and I
Can
was
I
able to
tell
do it.
you
So
a little funny tidbit about like weightlifting? I had this
sure,
guy work for me once. Muscle bomb, just beefcake gym guy, right?
right.
He was the worst worker I've ever had in my entire life. All right, the
Go
worst.
figure.
He could not, like, those muscles weren't working muscles, not to work construction, not to build, not to hold, not to,
They
it's
were
like,
just for
yeah,
show.
because they're doing these things. You don't do these things when you
Right.
build. You're doing everything but those things. So
Right.
his muscle memory wouldn't allow him to do these things.
Right.
It was just like, I'm just like, just go,
Right. Right.
just, yeah, you're a
Yeah.
great guy, but go, go back to the
It's
gym.
time for lunch for you. Right.
Just
So
go back to the gym.
there you go.
You
I
know,
think that's funny.
it is. It is.
So anyway, I do like these adventures, and I really looked at doing all the research and everything on this was kind of a big adventure. I like finding things out. Sounds like you do too.
Absolutely.
I'm really enjoy and impressed with how far you've gone with this whole paranormal thing. I think it's interesting that you've got this business and you go do it at people's homes, and you got to meet a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting paranormal spirits. So
Yeah. Like
that's
this is last year's Paracon that we ran. We had Josh Gates there, like all these people, like ghost hunters and all these, they're our friends, you know what I mean? We've known them for years, but to have Josh Gates come
wow.
to our event was
Right.
huge. We had like 9,000 people come. This year is our lineup so far. This actually isn't even everybody that we have coming so far. We kind of wait for our big
Wow.
announcements
Wow.
closer to the end. So we do a lot.
Wow.
We have Ghostly Excursion, taking people on ghost hunts. We have Vortex Ghost Gear. We have that Paracon. While I do this show, it's like we just do a lot. Like I could show you stuff on the paranormal that would blow your mind. But let's see, Bob is the mad scientist inventor. Like, we do these things like this. This is a trigger prop dog, and what that does is, when you turn it on and you pet it, like a spirit would pet it, the lights will light up and the sound will, like there's two different sounds. There's a brim sound and a nice musical sound. So wherever you go, you can go to the harshest places, like, a jail or something like that. But someone would connect with a pit bull, or you can have a little, like we have a lot of cats and a lot of dogs, and like so many different variety. But always all sorts of people. Like when you were going and looking for all your sorts of people to do your study, all sorts of people love animals,
Right.
So when
That's brilliant.
they will connect with the animal.
Yeah, no, that's great.
A great
And
so it's one of them.
and it's interesting how you make connections with people that way, and then additionally, as you engage them further, you're able to help them more. So it isn't just the initial engagement.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so we do these events, but we also, help people in their homes and stuff. So.
Well, that is nice. I actually you do some really amazing stuff. Actually, I like to do additional research, but this is more for fun. I like to run taste tests on things, and I'll get a group or family members or whatever, and so it could be on. I'll get a bunch of French fries from different places, and people try them, and then they vote, or hamburgers, or we've done donuts,
Have you done the
eclairs.
Oreos? Because there are like 5 million things of Oreos. My
There
daughter
are or
does
Oreos. See, there I'm a big Oreo fan, and so I, would have like 8 different flavors of Oreos, and people would vote. Dinner rolls was also a fun thing. There are a lot of
Oh,
dinner roll options in most cities, and so that was fun.
number
So
one.
anyway, well, I actually this is going to be interesting. A lot of people may know this brand. I was able to go to this restaurant, and they actually sell these frozen, and you go home and make them. And anyway, they just put a lot of butter in them. It's Texas Roadhouse, and so
Yes. Oh, and I love that butter.
I tell you, those rolls, they're good.
Yep.
And so you may have some other restaurants or other bakeries in town that are known for their rolls. You get a bunch of them, make some of those Texas Roadhouse, and see what people think.
Yeah, I would stay with that one too.
So I really like that one. But anyway, I think it's fun to look at life as an adventure, and it seems like you do that too.
Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt about it. You know, what do we got left? We got 10 minutes left. All right, can we just again talk more about like your coaching here, like what you can do? Like, do you do it one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, I can do it one-on-one if people have got questions. One of the other things that we're offering uh, it is either, I call it a date night where couples can come, or where we just have individuals come. Again, a lot of these people want to do this on their own, or need, their first experience is doing it on their own. So we get a group together and they can participate, and we can ask questions and share stories and things like that. So that's part of it. We're also working on um, some small workshops. We're also looking, as I mentioned, we're currently working on a couple of additional study items that would help people to either study this on their own, or again, just have a little journal. It's the size of the book itself that they can look at, discuss some tips, as well as they can make notes about what they're
That's
doing.
always
And
that's a
so,
plus. That's a
so
plus.
it's that kind of thing. And we anticipate that we're going to have more things that people can participate with. And so anyway, that's kind of what we're doing. And we're excited. We've got a lot of feedback, a lot of response. And so this has been a good journey.
Yeah,
So
yeah, really happy for you. You sound like, like you have no fear of doing the different things. You have no
no,
fear of trying things, which is always a plus. But I would definitely, when you have these other books done, you know, please let me know and come back
sure.
and we can talk about them, you
Right.
know.
Well, I'll do that. And as I get any more information, I think it would be fun to come back and share that with you. You're a real delight. I could see, when I first heard about this being a 2-hour experience, I thought,
I
wow,
know you
that's a long
panic. Everyone
time.
panics. It's like it goes by like
And
this.
and it's live. That's the other thing that so far I've done a number of podcasts, and all of them been recorded. And so it was interesting. Wow, how is that going to go?
I
So,
have that option, and you know what? I've never done one. I'd rather do
oh,
the
you've
live.
never done a recorded one? Oh, yeah. Well, I think this works for you. And the length of time also is, I think it fits you. I mean, I think that that's a highlight of you or your experience or something. Anyway, I think this has been a nice
Thank
experience
you.
and a real
Like, I
delight.
think
So,
I think it's like a good amount of time. Like we get your information out, then we get to know a little bit more about you, and then like the end here when we just had our little banter back and forth, we get to
sure.
know really more you, and that's
Yeah,
what I love.
I think that's nice. In fact, I'm interested to find out more about this paranormal conference. Never been to one, but you make it sound very attractive. So,
It's huge. It's great. It's at Penhurst Asylum, Spring City, Pennsylvania. It's May 17th, 18th that weekend. We start out with a VIP party. The next day we have vendors and we have lectures and we have all kinds of things as history tours of the location because it is a haunted location. It's a historic location. And it's huge. It's 350 acres, so it's huge. But there's a lot of
wow.
buildings. That's why we get to have a lot of people, because we have the space you know it's a lot goes into this. There's a lot, there's traffic control, there's parking control, there's crowd controls, there's we let people in 3 different times of the day. So like we sell all these different tickets. If you go to penhurstasylum.com,
Wow.
that's where all the tickets are, and you can see the different kinds. And you get in like one gets in at 9, one gets in at 10, another at 11. So it's like this crowd can go, that crowd can go, that crowd can go, and
Wow.
it's
How many years have you been doing this?
11.
And did you start this, or did you take over from someone?
Bob actually started it. The first one they had like
Wow.
50 people. And then the next year, I think they had 100 people. And then I got involved. Now we have 9,000 people.
How did you
But
how did
Penrose,
it grow?
it just it
How did people
just does.
go ahead?
It just does. The the guests that you have, the respect that you earn in the community by doing right things. Um, we try to cater to so many different people. We try to have a little bit of everything. So we had like, every year we try something different. We tried to have a hot air balloon, all right, just so that people could rise up over Penhurst and see it from the air. However, that ended miserably and badly, and we couldn't do it because it was windy and the balloon wanted to blow into a building. So it was like, well, moot point, but we tried. Then we tried different times of the year, the men, and you
Those
admitted
men.
those
Yeah,
men, you admitted it. All right, those
I
men
did.
decided that
They're
July would
trouble.
be a good
They're
month.
trouble from the
July,
beginning.
July, in
Too hot.
yeah, it was 110 degrees that day. There was a big black top tent. Everyone was roasting. You had to spend like $25,000 to have air conditioning brought in that day to pump into these tents and warm all the worker bees that we have and everything. I mean, you talk about a community come together and all our workers. I can't tell you how hard our workers are and how hard Penhurst crew is, like unbelievable hard workers, moving everybody's tables and all their wares and all their stuff into the tent with the air conditioning and whatnot as we're dying. I mean, we did our best, and I think that's the thing that proves like the character of, what we are doing. We pour our heart and soul into this, and we truly care about all the people. So we try to have something for everyone, and like now we have horror people, and we have, like we have the Josh, so he's like our adventure guy. We have the Bigfoot people, we have the ghost hunters, of course, because it's a ghost hunting place, and just various guests. We get some TikTokers coming this year. We have a woman that's hilarious that I cannot wait to meet, like stars from True Blood and things like that, like
Wow.
yeah so we just kind of mix it up every year.
Yeah, you don't know this, but you are getting me to want to come this May. So
Well, I hope you do.
So I think that.
Do. And
So
we
I think.
have our big tent. We have a 10 by 20 tent, and I'm in there selling our ghost gear stuff and running around putting out fires here and there.
Well,
But you'd be able to find me.
well, if I come, I will seek you out. So that'll be fun.
That would be great. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love it. I would love it, and you would have fun. You would really have fun.
I'm looking forward to it. I've got some family members who are really into horror, and I might bring them. I like doing stuff where I get to see somebody else having fun, even though I'm not.
Well,
I don't like horror a
some
lot.
of their favorite horror stars. Jason's going to be there, and Michael Myers. You know what I mean? Like those types of horror things. If they like that kind of horror, and like I said, we got some True Blood people. We got it's people we haven't even announced yet. So I have to make sure
So you got some secrets coming. Is that right?
Yes, we always do. You always do.
Oh, that is so great! Wow, that is so fun.
Yeah.
So you got
True
a lot of people already lined up.
Yeah, definitely. Skinwalker Ranch guy. Oh, and what's his name here? Oh my God, I can't think of it. I can't read it. Oh my God, I love him. And from the Sons of Anarchy there. Oh my God,
And what's Paracon? What does that mean?
Paracon. It's a paranormal.
Paranormal.
So it's just.
I'm mispronouncing it. If I were to pronounce it correctly, I probably would have got it. So I was thinking, that's some sort of secret. Oh no, not really. Not really at all.
No.
So thank you. So that's so fun. And the fact that it started out with 5 or 50 people, that is a great growth, and in a short period of time too. So
yeah. So it's like kind of 3 fascists. It's it's Penhurst crew, and me and Bob, because like we like the beginning of it. So we do what we do, they do what they do, because it's Penhurst, it's Penhurst. Like this is the only thing that we do for Penhurst, is this one event just to help them, and with the preservation and everything of the.
And do you live nearby, or is this a trip for you?
It's 2.5 hours for me.
Oh.
And Bob goes down every day the week before to help set up all the tents and all the things that are over, because we have, the food tents and the speaker tents and, all these areas around, so it's like moving of porta potties and whatnot, all the time. It's always something. It's always something.
Yeah. Well, that is nice. And I bet you've met a lot of friends. You've made a lot of
Totally,
friends.
totally, yes, yeah, it's a whole community.
And so you get to see them every year. That makes it even
Yeah,
more special.
yeah. And then I made this thing that was kind of playing around. So that's our wedding thing.
Oh, that is nice.
And that's Penhurst. That's the main building of Penhurst. I'm not sending this out yet because we haven't ironed down what time our ceremony or anything is going to be, but it's going to
But you're
be
going there, so you're going to do it.
there. Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
that somehow makes it better. And then you've got all your paranormal friends coming too.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
you know you're going to have more of a crowd than you can think. So
yeah, yeah. I
we'll
know.
see how it
It's
goes.
lots to
So
do. A lot to do. A lot of decorating to do for it and stuff. But listen, enough about me. More about you.
sure.
Your book is amazing. Wordless Connection.
Thank
I
you.
cannot wait to have a paper in my hand, book in my
Yeah,
hand.
no, I'll get one to you shortly. So
I appreciate
that is so great.
it.
This has been a pleasure for me and a great experience. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, now you're a Fox 10 family member for life, so you're stuck with us. And if Mama D was here, she would tell you the same thing. So,
I'm ready to join the family. So
okay. All right. Well, you're already in. All right. So hang with me for a few minutes. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to play my exit video. I can find it. This
thank
one.
you, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us. You've been a pleasure and can't wait to have you back. All right. Ciao for now. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox 10 with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, the Fox 10 with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, the Fox 10 with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.
Wow.
I think
I even learned a bunch of stuff through that.